Welcome to this episode of Skin Deep. This episode we have Palak Shah, who's the founder of Ekaya. It's so lovely to have you, Palak.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to start by talking about your first memory of beauty.
It's going to sound funny, but like just in getting introduced to like a Johnson's baby cream. That's what I've
so lovely.
always used as a child, as growing up. And maybe like, I think the first time I tried makeup on would be perhaps in class 11th or 12th.
Yeah. But I love the idea of Johnson's baby cream because it's such a kind of a primal thing that all of us remember, like a smell or a touch. And what was the product you tried on first?
Beauty?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I think like we all went through that phase, right? When we were all trying to like do our makeup and like do everything. I think actually my first memory of like real beauty would be, I think when I went to America.
Yeah.
I think for my master's, and America is really huge on makeup.
Yeah.
Right. So like, as in you walk into Sephora and then they sell you every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And then you come out looking really caked up and really beautiful. And I remember there was this whole phase that I went through when I was using lipsticks and foundation and concealer and powder and eyebrow and every single product that I could imagine.
Just having fun with it.
Not having fun, just applying it because I have to apply it and I have to do it. And I come back from the US for my vacation in India and I'm doing the same routine and I'm standing out. And my mom's like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is there so much makeup on your face?
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, you know what? Like, you can't have that formula of kind of like repeating what others do to yourself. I always wanted to have that, the clean Arabic skin where they look almost doll-like.
Yeah.
And that was my goal. Yeah. And I think I just did the opposite of it because I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting also the way we discover beauty as you go along, because to your point, there's someone that you admire or a look or a culture, but you come from a family that's from Banaras, which is such an ancient city that, you know, your family's always worked in textiles. You have a 120-year-old history.
130 now.
That's incredible. Of textiles. So how was that like growing up? How did that sort of, your childhood and Banaras, I know you lived there for a while and you went to boarding school.
Yes.
So how did all of that shape you?
As a person?
As a person, with your ideas of beauty?
My childhood was a lot of time spent with my dad and his brothers.
Yeah.
I always say I have 5 fathers.
Oh, that's so
I've
nice.
been raised by my dad and his brothers.
Yeah.
And so I've spent a lot of time, I think, doing the things that they've done.
Yeah.
Incorporating what their beliefs are. And I always say that I'm a mixture of all 5 of them.
Yeah.
I have qualities of my dad and I have qualities of my uncle, and like I'm the binding factor for them. I always, whenever I was bored, I was taken to work.
Right.
So from a very early on as a baby, I've seen what selling and like making a sari feels like.
Yeah.
And sari for me was very like a part of my life.
Right.
And funny enough is that when I was a little girl, you know, we all have dolls.
Yeah.
So there used to be this little like little factory room, and they used to have all these katrans.
Yeah.
And I used to bring all the katrans and make blouses for my
sweet.
dolls, right? And I used to make little saris and I used to drape them. And I think that's where my blouses come from. I think so all those tiny little blouses.
So you kind of manifested it years later.
Yeah, but like a lot of, I think, ideologies about life and who I am and beauty and like being very comfortable in my skin and really owning who I am came from my parents and came from my dad and his brothers.
Yeah.
My own dadi barely did any makeup. You know, we're from small town. We're not from Delhi where we needed to do all of these things, or we even enjoyed, like, even till date, my mom walks in with just a little concealer that we have fostered on her.
Right.
She's like, I don't understand all these things. And still, like, you took care of yourself, you ate good food, you interacted well, you were happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think led to also like better skin and better lifestyle and like feeling even beautiful inside out.
I mean, that's so interesting because it's sort of the idea of, you know, which self-care will tell you now of inner beauty and outer beauty. But it seems like something that you were just raised with, you know, intrinsically. It was just part of your childhood growing up, like eat well, take care of yourself. What was work like when you say I was taken to work? Was it like the mills? Was it a store? What could you describe?
It was a store. It was a store because my dad is actually a wholesaler and a manufacturer. So all the weavers, I mean, like I've spent like Sundays, you know how like kids go for holidays and kids are taken to like your amusement parks.
Yeah.
My dad used to take me to the Weavers.
Right.
Work would be like me sitting in his gaddi back in the day, because that's what you call it.
Yeah.
And all these stacks of saris coming in, and Papa is saying, okay, this is right, that's good. This combination is wrong. This booty is a little off. So very early on, I knew what was correct, what was not. Even though I didn't know I was going to get into business. Because I also come from Banaras. I come from a Gujarati household where the boys are the heir of the business.
Yeah.
I was the first woman to start working in my family. Even till today, when my mom, as in now my mom works because my dad has empowered her to work.
Right.
And also, like, my mom is a stronger woman.
Yeah.
She's also Leo like me.
Right.
My dad always says that I'm stuck with 2 Leos in the house, and I've become mild compared to you guys.
So you went off to boarding school when you were 8, and then you made your way out into the world. So can you talk a little bit about who you were perhaps when you left this lovely, warm, kind of cozy family and then started to make your way out and become a different person perhaps?
You're going to actually be surprised if I tell you that I was a timid, I was scared, I was a pampered kid who couldn't even cross the road.
Really?
And so when I left Banaras for boarding school, and even I feel like my first 8 years of boarding school, because I also went to Saree International, which is also a very protected school. It was a private school back in the day. It was where all your, your Gujarati, Marwari kids came. They were taught life skills. You had home sciences. So we were taught how to speak in English. We were taught how to behave a certain way. But we were never allowed to go out and venture in the world.
Got it.
So I remained this scared, timid person who couldn't talk to somebody. And I remember I couldn't even cross the road, which is really funny, right? And because I was raised by 4 men, they were always protecting me. But at the same time, they were still pushing me off. They're like, no, you go do your thing. I think I transformed when I shifted schools.
Got it.
So from Saree International, I moved on to Vellum Girls.
Right.
And that's where my real transformation came.
Right. And how old were you when you did that?
Class 10.
Okay.
I'm a student.
So that's also kind of it's a pretty pivotal time in someone's life. Like class 10, 11 is also when you're kind of figuring out who you are, I feel.
So that's when I shifted schools, and that's when I went to public school now.
Right.
We were meant to go do things outside. We had to break our fears. We had to sort of like break what we believed in. So that's when I became this brave little girl who wanted to go and fight. Right. Then I wanted to go study in London because all my friends from Vellum were going, someone's going to USC, someone's going to LSE, someone's going to Harvard. And here I was, my dad said, you go to SRCC.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not going to SRCC. And I remember I wrote my dad a 12-page letter.
Really?
It was a 12-page letter. That was the first time when I wrote a hate letter to my dad. And I was like, why have you given me wings when you want to cut it? And and this whole 12 pages.
A very articulate sort of.
So my dad has always raised me saying that I want you to be the next Indra Nui of the world, right? Because she's independent, she's fearless, she's created her own name, and he's always wanted me to be this independent human being.
Right.
But in class 12 when I wanted to go abroad, he said no, because I feel like his family situations kind of come into play.
I think it's also such a classic father thing to do, because I kind of faced that growing up as well, where your father's always like, you can do whatever you want. And then when you're ready to, they're like, no, let's just like stay back. Like just stay under my wing a little bit more. So it's almost like your first battle to establish yourself is also with that person who gave you the confidence and gave you the sense that you can do whatever you want.
Multiple battles with my father. I feel like every single time I've pivoted, I've had a battle with my father. I'll get back to the second one later. But so my mom convinced my dad.
Okay.
We had a bet saying if she gets through SRCC, she stays. But if she misses it, then she goes out. Because SRCC was the top school in India at that point of time. As luck would have it, I missed it by 1 mark.
Right.
By 1 goddamn mark. And I was the happiest.
And you were like, that's it, I'm done.
That's it, I'm out, peace out, I'm out of here. But even then I was not particularly entrepreneurial. I was beginning to explore myself. I was becoming a little bit more confident, but I was not this person that I am today.
You spoke a little bit earlier when we were chatting before about how you were a tomboy. And you kind of have found your own femininity, and we'll get to that whole journey. But when it comes to beauty, makeup, like you mentioned, you experimented with makeup, you were trying to find your voice. What about like skincare and hair care? as an example, like when I was growing up, I had the worst acne in the world. And I think it shaped who I was as a teenager. It shaped how I saw myself. And it doesn't have to be that traumatic, but did you have things around appearance and your idea of your own sort of how you wanted to be seen by the world as a young woman?
I feel like we all have our own battles.
Yeah.
I think I've always had a battle, I think, with my body.
Right.
It's really funny, and I say this now on screen, is that I could never tuck in a shirt.
Right.
It's like you wear your tucked in shirt, a tucked in t-shirt. I was so conscious because I was like, I have like stomach rolls and I have fat there and I can't wear it. But I was really beautiful. You know, my body was very nice and I was just underconfident.
Yeah.
Skin for me has always been good, touch wood.
Yeah. You have lovely skin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But also I think it's a lot to do with genes.
Yeah.
A lot to do. My dad has good skin. My mom has great skin. My daddy had great skin.
Yeah.
I haven't done much, to be honest. I don't do it. Like I was telling you, my husband's introduced me to a lot of skincare. I didn't even know I'm supposed to use retinol or your AHA, BHA. And I remember when my girls, we have a chat with all the girls and they were asking, what's best? And I asked my best friend saying, what is it? I don't even know. So I don't use, I still till date don't use it. I'm trying to do very little because I feel like what's good should not be messed with. But again, what's good should also be preserved.
Yeah.
So I'm doing things to preserve it. I don't want to overdo it because I don't believe in overdoing it.
And I think that's also sort of the fundamental principle of beauty and skincare and hair care and all of it is to kind of look at what works for you, right? And I think in a world where we're constantly being told what to do, that's also an interesting path to walk to say, I know what I have and I know what I want to focus on and what I want to take care of, but maybe not stress out too much about.
But I just feel like the world that we live in is stressing you out.
It is, yeah.
If you're on Instagram, many of these influencers are just telling you what to use, how to get this. You're being like lured into Botox, you're being lured into fillers.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on because there's a constant need to be perfect. There's a constant need to make your skin perfect and your beauty perfect. Even in my own household, my sister and my cousin, they go to dermat every week and we actually have beautiful skin too. But I think they've been, because they're much younger, they've been conditioned to believe that
that's what you need to do.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to go visit a dermat. You need to get all the kind of things that they tell you to do.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I genuinely, and I feel like, Jimmy, a lot of this has come because of my work that has kind of made me confident with who I am.
Yeah.
Had my work not been there, maybe I wouldn't be this confident person.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you inside, right? These are the small wins that have made me like strong and successful and confident. A lot of my body positivity comes from me expressing myself through sarees.
Yeah.
Even though I work out, but I also eat. I have my cake. I need my cake.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of body positivity and body confidence comes because of how I feel in my saree or how I feel, how it's also a piece of fabric, right?
Yeah.
My work has made me confident. So I think it's not just beauty because you could be the most beautiful looking woman on the planet. But if you don't have something going on for you that kind of makes you confident from inside, you'll always be thinking there's something wrong with you.
I loved that philosophy you shared of the small wins and not just focusing on a large milestone or a big win as it's defined by other people. And I do want to talk about the fact that you started Ekaya when you were very young. 21, which is very young to get out in the world and say, I'm going to do this. And I've, for those of us that have followed the brand journey, we've seen you come into your own and find your self-expression. So can you talk a little bit about that, about what that was like to firstly work with these heritage heirloom textiles that are so stunning and that they are their own expression of beauty. And what was it like for you? What sparked that idea that I want to do this and I want to take this out into the world?
You're not going to believe it, but I was actually studying and I had just graduated. And my dad actually was trying to get me back to India to get me married.
Right.
True story. My dad wanted to get me married. My dad was like, now let's get her back. She's been out for the past, I think, 18 years already then. And let's get her back. Let's get her to get married.
Yeah.
And I remember I came back And I told my dad, I'm like, 3 months, I'm going to try and do your business. He actually lured me back to India to work with him.
Right.
I spent 3 months with him, 1 month actually. And I was like, I can't work with you.
Right.
And I was like, you and I don't like each other. You and I do not understand each other. Your philosophy is different.
Yeah.
And my dad, by the way, is the closest human being to me.
Yes, and because I know on your social media you talk a lot about your father, and
my
and
dad
you just
is
mentioned,
my world.
Yeah,
my dad's my world, but
Yeah.
we also fight and we
Yeah.
bicker.
And that's a true relationship as well. Yeah,
I think when you're working together, right, and
Yeah.
when we're both creative human beings, and it happens, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, my dad told me to work with him. It didn't work out. I said, screw you, I'm going to Delhi. And I went to Delhi, and my dad anyway was going to open a retail showroom called
Right.
Ekaya. And
Right.
it was just bricking, like, it was just
Yeah.
bricking like stones, and like, it was
Yeah.
just nothing there in the store. And 21-year-old girl, overconfident clearly, because
Yeah.
I was like, I can do this thing. I walk in and I was like, I'll take care of this. And it became almost like a mission to prove to people that I can do it.
yeah,
To prove to my family, because I mean, I have my 2 uncles who are part of the business.
yeah,
My dada is a part of the business. My dad is. And to prove to these 4 people that I got this, and
Yeah.
they actually gave me wings to fly. I think coming back to your small wins is that there were so many small wins along the way that kind
Yeah.
of led me for that big win. And also I think as a human being, I don't look for that big win.
that's
I look for
interesting.
small wins every single day, because
Yeah.
that pushes me to work harder and to get bigger. And quite honestly, I feel like once you get so many small wins, the big win
It
also
is-
seems
yeah.
small. Every day I'm celebrating.
Yeah,
Every single day, I mean, like literally my team, as in we have this group with my team, we'll sell something from a collection and we'll all celebrate, and there'll be cake
Yeah.
and thing.
yeah.
So like, you don't wait for that big thing to happen. You
Yeah.
celebrate life every day.
What put that philosophy in you? Is it something that you've kind of learned for yourself? Perhaps just the journey, like you said, at 21 of starting. I shouldn't say starting a brand, because I know your family's always done it, but you've brought Ekaya into the world in a different way.
Yeah.
With your work. And can you talk a little bit about what you learned along that way, obviously as an entrepreneur, but also as a young woman who suddenly was thrust out into the world? Because I remember, I mean, I've been around way too long clearly at this point, but I remember when you started bringing Ekaya into the limelight, and when fashion magazines back in the day wasn't too much Instagram. 2012, 2013, Instagram existed, but your main focus was events and magazines, and everyone started to pay attention to this lovely young woman who was trying to tell us a different story. How did you sort of almost, because I feel sometimes for us, especially as women, we use fashion and beauty and makeup as armor, to kind of like prepare yourself for the world in a sense. And that doesn't always mean doing a lot of it, but just, kind of stepping up to it, right? So what was that like for you?
Even through Ekaya, right? I feel like I use saris as a genuine medium,
Yeah.
because I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I've never, I think, tried to promote a sari. I've worn it in my own way as an expression of what fashion means to me and what a
Yeah.
sari means to me, and how I genuinely would dress up a sari.
Yeah.
And while even speaking to you, I've never used it as a medium to show the world how they can wear it.
Yeah.
I was a part of the GQ best dressed list,
Yeah.
and they'd asked me to do a shoot, and I was going to wear a normal high neck thing with a black sari.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I go to the room and there was a cap lying, and I just put the cap on.
I
and
remember
then,
that image so clearly.
Yeah, and I put that cap
yeah.
on, then I suddenly put this chunky jewelry, and I was like, guys, you know what? This is such a cool look.
Yeah.
And it never was me trying hard enough to be a part of that cool list.
It was there, and you felt it worked for you at that point.
But it's
Yeah.
my expression of fashion. It's my expression
Yeah.
of who I am. And similarly with when Ekaya came to the limelight as well, I don't think I was ever trying to be in the limelight. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
What does a 21-year-old girl know about PR and fashion and trying to be on the
Yeah.
forefront? Now I know it.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying. Now I'm trying to be relevant, or maybe I'm trying to sort of like do kick-ass campaigns, or I'm trying to
Yeah.
do like make Ekaya. Now I am a girl with a mission and a vision.
Right. It sounds like you and your brand have kind of grown side by side and reflected in each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think to those of us that love Ekaya and have followed you and followed the brand, it feels very much seamless.
Thank
That you've kind of fit into each other. I know you work out a lot. Yes. So can you talk a little bit about what whether you use the word self-care or think of it that way, but what's your routine like with taking care of yourself, with your body, with your skin?
For me, everyone who knows me, workouts are non-negotiable. For me, workout is that 1 hour of the day where I want for myself, and I want to feel light, body-wise and mentally as well. I got this beautiful gym in Bandra. And it's not a gym, it's like a community of people. And even in Delhi when I was there, that 1 hour needed to happen no matter what. And I could have a meeting and I could have anything going on, but Palak will take that 1 hour. My team knows it, that from maybe 7 to 8.
Kind of like blocked off on your calendars.
Like they know that she will not answer. And that Palak needs to work out. Like even when I travel to Delhi, I will fix my workout, and that's my priority, because I just feel like to function and to be who I am and to be better at who I am, that 1 hour is needed for my sanity. And whatever I may do that 1 hour. I don't like sitting around. I don't like sitting in my bed and like watching movie for that 1 hour, because I'm very angsty. Like I want to do something all the time. I want to sort of like be up to something. And that gym time is my me time, and that's my self-care.
And I think it's something that many people don't think about, or we're not told about this aspect of working out. Is yes, I mean, there's the whole idea of working out to
make
stay
fit
body, or fit into your clothes, or whatever that means to you. But I think as women, the sense of empowering yourself by giving yourself time to be in your body is something that not many people talk about.
I think it comes to you. It came to me. I'm learning a pull-up at this point in time. And I want to skin the cat, and I want to do a muscle-up.
I don't even know what that means. So you know how much time I spend at the gym. But what is skinning a cat?
Skinning a cat is when you're on the ring bar and you're going reverse and you're coming back.
Okay. I'm trying to imagine that and I cannot. And about beauty, I know, I want to kind of touch upon what we spoke about earlier, that you have a husband who owns a nutraceutical company, but also clearly has a true love and passion for what he does. And can you talk a little bit about how that has changed, how you see skincare and perhaps wellness and all of that fun stuff?
I'll just start by saying that I'm educated every single day on a new product.
Right. That's
amazing. So he will so my husband's turning 40 this year.
Right.
He looks younger than me, I'd say. Every single day I'll look at his skin and be like, your skin is skinning. How? Right? But I just feel like it's the amount of care that he takes for his skin, right? And many men don't take care of the skin. And Avnish is one who likes to take care, because he's like, if I don't take care right now, it's going to get bad eventually, and I don't want to age badly.
Right.
But I've been taught it's a lot about, I think, having good skin, but it's a lot also about preserving good skin. So I've been taught about how I can take all these supplements and make my skin even better, and leave at least preserve it if I can, right? So you have these NMN, and I was taught about retinol, and I was taught about all these other things when I should use it. And Bombay is very big on facials and treatments, which Delhi isn't. So I never did anything there.
Right.
And now I'm in Bombay, so I've been taught you do PRP and microneedling, and I was like, I am not doing jack shit at this point in time.
But it's good to know I have all of these options for later.
But I feel like it's actually very nice. I'm against it, but if I want to continue looking good, and while the kind of stress that I have in my life, all these things are also important, I feel, at some point in time. And we can't fight aging. That's never going to happen. But it's always nicer to take care of yourself, because that's also a form of self-care.
It is.
And it is. And I used to act cool by saying, I don't need anything and I will not do anything. But I need to, because, with work stress and traveling and not eating right and not hydrating enough. Unless I do that with my nutrition, then I don't need it. But if I'm also running a very hectic life, somewhere I have to kind of
I think it's a combination of things, right? And it's also lovely that we have all these options now. That you can pick and choose, and do you want to do a little, do you want to do a lot? So do you now have a skincare regimen that you would like to talk about?
If I'm not lazy, I do.
Okay.
But of course, you have a toner that you do, and then sunscreen is non-negotiable. I try and do vitamin C. And I just bought a retinol yesterday.
Okay.
And it's a night cream with retinol. So I was like, let me try. It's still lying there. I haven't used it. But I think for me, it's a lot about. I think the more, like, actually for me, for my own skin, the more I experiment, the more it kind of like gets irritated.
Right.
So I try to do very little with it.
Yeah. So you perhaps have like sensitive skin that you
I
need
don't
to
have
kind of-
sensitive skin. My skin is like, stop doing too much to it.
Right.
It's literally like I will, like they
I do
like,
better with less.
I do better
Yeah.
with less.
Yeah.
So like a basic vitamin C, and like I use this very nice cream, the crystal tomato cream.
Right.
So little bit here and there, not
Yeah.
too much. I don't want to overlayer it. I don't
Yeah.
have the time to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Do you have brands that you love or have discovered, skincare, hair care, makeup, any of that you are currently loving to use? Or
I am, so we made a trip to Japan in January.
right.
And we got a bunch of stuff from Japan.
And that's just like, it's the best country to go to.
Funny is that a lot of products are Avnish's and mine.
Right.
But we both share it because he loves to experiment as well. So we got SK2, we've got this really nice rice water. I forget the name. It's called Naturee.
Right.
There's another brand which we loved. It's got this beautiful Issey bottle.
Oh, lovely.
I forget it. It'll come back to me.
Right. We can put that in the show notes.
Can I remember it? I forget what's it called. Forget. I will tell you guys.
We'll put it in the show notes. It's fine.
It's got a beautiful, like as in glass bottle, and the bottle was so good.
Yeah.
Epsa.
And what product is it?
It's a toner.
Oh, lovely.
It's a toner, and it's fantastic. So we were like, now I'm experimenting with toners a lot.
Yeah.
There's also now something called witch hazel.
Yes, which is so good for like, it's astringent basically.
Yeah, so like Anish got that from there, so we were trying there. But a lot of the toner, we got this vitamin C from Japan, which is apparently fantastic.
Yeah.
With makeup, I'm experimenting. I don't do a lot of makeup, to be honest.
Right.
Even today is just literally concealer and blush, and I feel like that works so much more for me than doing a full face of makeup. Yeah. Ipsa is a brand that I discovered in Japan, and I was lured to it by packaging.
Yeah, always.
And it's got a beautiful packaging. You know, it feels like your Issey bottles.
Oh, how beautiful.
And I went in, they did the skin analysis. They kind of show you the skin age and everything else, and we bought a bunch of stuff. So experimenting a lot with toners. We finished that bottle. Now we're on to SK2.
Yeah.
Then we'll be on to something else. So we always experiment. I say we because most of my skincare is shared with Avnish. But vitamin C, now I feel like vitamin C has become a non-negotiable for me every day.
It actually is. I feel like with skincare, if you look at it ingredient-wise, vitamin C can be a game changer.
But you know, I feel like I don't know whether it works for me or not.
Really?
I just do it because I'm supposed to do it, quite honestly.
It also kind of takes time to I feel like vitamin C is one of the ingredients that you kind of layer into your skincare routine, you keep at it, and then one day you just see that it's kind of started changing how your skin looks and feels.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it needs time.
And at night I'm using this crystal tomato cream.
I've never heard of that.
It's really cool. And actually that has helped me.
Right.
So I had this pigmentation around this area. And I was trying to like fix it, and I didn't even notice it, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I was.
Did your husband pointed it out to you?
Husband's like, baby, I think there's a patch out here. And I was like, okay, I will go and like.
I love that he points out the problem and gives you a solution,
but, you know,
which is
not
amazing.
it's not in a bad manner.
Not at all. No, it's helpful.
It's helpful, right? Because like I said earlier, I'm such a tomboy.
Yeah.
I don't care and I don't notice.
Yeah.
Like even if I have a zit and I'll be like, okay, fine, doesn't matter. My sister says that she's like, because you have good skin, you don't care. And
actually, that is so true. As someone with inherently bad skin, I can tell you it's like an obsession. Like you notice every little thing on your face.
Yeah, and you know, so anyway, so this crystal tomato cream is so good. You gotta take a little pinch of it and just put it on your your last step as your night routine. And that's it. I mean, like that actually has done wonders for me, and I feel like my skin's looking plumper and like brighter and it's nicer. In terms of makeup, I don't use a lot of makeup anymore.
Right.
Although
you've gone past your Sephora days.
I get excited each time I go to Sephora, so I'll try and force myself to buy it. But
it's like a kid in a candy shop when you go to Sephora or any of those places. Like I love duty frees when I'm traveling because you always have a little time at an airport, and it's always interesting to see, you know, across different cities and countries what's at duty frees, and you always have ideas of maybe I should try this and maybe I should try that. So it's fun.
I have been kicked out of Sephora once by the person because he's like, because I remember I was like, I think I need night cream or I need some eye cream. And I went and they're like, ma'am, you don't need.
Right.
Please go. And I was like, but I think I do. But what about this one? Because the packaging looks fancy.
Yeah.
And they're like, ma'am,
I'm seeing a pattern here with the packaging. But
they're like, ma'am, you don't need it. And so I don't I just feel like now my makeup's become very little. It's literally just concealer, mascara, eyebrow pencil.
Yeah.
And blush, that's about it. Like even
and
today.
it works for you, so you're fine with that.
I think every single time I've done a full face of makeup versus less makeup, I think it's worked better for me with less makeup.
Yeah.
Also, I'm putting less products on my skin and I'm letting my skin breathe and it's kind of works for me more, I think so.
Got it. And you were married, well, not very recently, but recently enough.
A year and a half.
And did you find that you kind of changed things up a little for your wedding? You had a very beautiful minimalist wedding. You looked very much like yourself and your wardrobe was lovely. And I know you worked with designers with Ekaya Thans. Did you enjoy that process of being a bride, and did that sort of shift anything about your ideas of beauty for yourself?
Quite honestly, I was working till one day before the wedding.
Right.
I actually went to study in November. My wedding was in February. So I was gone for a month almost to work to finish a course.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go, but Avnish was literally like, Avnish and his parents, in fact, were like, it's a deal breaker. If you don't go, we're not getting married.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they were literally like, if you don't go, we're not getting married. Like even this year, I have so much work and I'm leaving in October for a month.
Right.
And I was like, I can't go. And they're like, you're not entering the house if you're not going. Like you must go and finish it. You must go and chase your dreams and do what you must, right? So I was working till the last day at my wedding and our venue got finalized 15 days before the wedding.
Right.
Because Avnish was going through, his acquisition with Unilever that point of time.
Right.
I was going through work turmoil. So I don't think I got a chance to really be the bride that I was told I was supposed to be.
Right. But you were the bride that you were.
I was the bride that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I actually genuinely didn't have any time to go to the parlor or get any skincare before or to get those bridal facials.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel like you don't need it if you're taking care of yourself. If you're working out, I feel like it's more of a scam or it's more of a marketing tool by all these people that you need that bridal glow. But if you're not eating right, if you're not working out, the bridal glow is going to last only for 3 days.
So you may as well just sort of focus on yourself and do what you do.
But I believe in making it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Make it a part of who you are. Eat well, feed your brain well, feed your body well, take care of your body, then you're going to look good on your wedding.
And always.
I literally did nothing for my wedding.
Right.
And I swear to God, I didn't do anything. And I had a blast at my wedding.
Yeah.
Literally all my friends kind of came together, all my designer friends kind of helped me create the outfit that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Funny story is that my blouse tore and the Varmala thing.
Oh no.
So basically I danced so hard on my barat and Nikhil is my best friend by the way and he'd done my wedding lehenga and my blouse snapped during the barat first.
Yeah.
And I had to walk down the aisle because Avnish was waiting. Everyone was waiting. And Nikhil is there sewing my blouse and I was like, Nikhil, I said, Nick, quick, I gotta go. So he just did one taka. And I'm walking down the aisle and now I'm excited to see Avnish. So I go and hug him.
And it splits again?
It's gone. Right? And then my mom is like, and I was like, it's okay. I'm having a good time. Let it continue. So I kind of held it on like this. And
How did you manage to do
I'm dancing. And then my mom and everyone's like, this girl is crazy. And Avnish is like, I better not put my head up like this during Varmala because this girl's crazy. She'll do this also. Yeah. And it's going to be a full flash show with all these 250 people. But beauty is about not taking yourself too seriously. Beauty is about
having fun. And the fact that you're here now and you're laughing about it and you have fun with it.
I was laughing even then. And Nikhil was going crazy because he's like, what are you doing? My mom, I literally just held it like this.
Right.
And I danced. There's a video of me dancing like this. And then everyone came around and they said, and I literally, there's a part where I say, chuck it, it's okay. Let's just have fun. But most brides want to look perfect on the wedding day. They want to do more makeup and they want to sort of look. Even on my wedding day, I literally done less makeup. I had Kritika Gill, who's a very close friend of mine.
Right.
She came and did my makeup on the wedding. And the brief was, I said, Kritika, make me look normal.
Yeah.
I don't want to look caked up. Even when I go for shoots or when I go for interviews, I always tell him, I was like, less makeup, please. I said, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable when I'm doing too much makeup.
Yeah.
I think it's about just, I think the minute you are feeling beautiful inside and you're
okay.
confident, it all comes down to feeling confident.
Yeah.
You could be Kylie Jenner, but if you're not confident, you will never ever feel like you're good enough.
No, and that's such an important thing for all of us to remind ourselves of, right? I think also as women and in the world as it is today, where everyone is presenting a very curated, filtered idea of themselves, it's also we make things very hard for ourselves.
We're too hard on ourselves unnecessarily.
Yeah. And sometimes it's nice to just remind yourself that you're okay. As long as you know you're okay.
As long as you're trying.
Yeah.
You're trying, you're eating right, and I mean, like, we all have different body types, and like, your body type is different from mine is different from somebody else's.
Yeah.
And sure, it's not impossible to get your dream body.
Yeah.
But given your work, given your lifestyle, given the amount of effort you're ready to put in, if you're doing your best, just be okay with it. And I feel like, to be honest, for me, the times when I've been very comfortable in my skin and I've been comfortable with my weight and my body are the times that my body has shown results.
Right.
Because I'm not stressing my body out.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm not calculating what I'm eating.
Yeah.
When I'm not looking at, oh my God, I must get my 70 grams of protein in a day and I must eat only grilled chicken and thing. When I've eaten my pasta and I've eaten because my body is happy and I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
And I've eaten the way I should eat, I actually end up losing weight and I feel better.
Yeah.
As opposed to starving myself and putting my body through fight mode.
Yeah. No, and that's so true. And one of the things I want to ask you is, where do you seek beauty in the world? Where do you go? You run a business in what is arguably a very competitive retail environment. You manage stores and staff and, teams. Where do you go to recharge and find beauty for yourself?
The gym.
Really?
I quite honestly tell you, for me, my gym time is
it's your sacred time.
It sounds weird, but for me, I think finding gratitude in everything that I do.
Yeah.
And just being, grateful for everything that's happening in the world and my life, how life is working out sometimes, and when life is not working out sometimes because it's teaching you something, kind of makes me see the beauty in life. And that's something I've learned from my dad.
Right.
Anything will happen, I'll be complaining, and my dad will be like, but look at the positive side.
Yeah.
And, I'm an overthinker and I get worked up very easily when, things are not going my way. But then I think over the years, I've figured out my mechanism and my way of coping mechanism with it.
Yeah.
What I should do to kind of get over it earlier than I would have.
Yeah.
And I think positivity is the only way out, to be honest. Because
it is, and gratitude, to your point.
Because I genuinely feel like you make the world a difficult place for yourself unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Because things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. People are going to behave the way they're going to behave. And the more negativity you spew in your head, you're making your life worse.
Do you have a muse or someone you're very inspired by?
In terms of fashion?
Fashion, beauty, working out, anything.
I genuinely feel like, I was like, Instagram in general, the positive of it is that everyone started dressing up better.
Yeah.
We're all now, with the amount of content we are consuming in terms of only fashion, is that there's so much style inspiration that everyone's dressing up better. Everyone's gone up a notch higher than what they would have normally. So I feel like for fashion, I think Instagram is my inspiration. Yeah. And a lot of places because, I'll see a woman with a headscarf and I feel like, I can do that with my saree. And I'll see someone with a really nice belt, the scotch-setted belts. And I'm like, maybe that I'll put in my saree. Yeah. But all my looks, I'm thinking about a saree.
Right.
So I'm also a little obsessive with my saree. And I'll be like, I'll do this with a saree and I'll do that. Yeah. So that's very cool. In terms of, I think, people I'm inspired by with work culture and with who they are as people, I'm inspired by my dad a lot. Yeah. For solely, I think, with just how hardworking he is and with his thought process to life.
Right.
My dad always says, he's like, I've never met a person who's done bad to me.
Right.
And it's not that people have not done bad to him. He just hasn't looked at it that way. Yeah. He'll have the worst day and he'll be upset, and he's my best friend and I share things with him. But he'll be like, it's okay. Yeah. Chal, ho gaya, let's move on. And that's attitude I like. Also by Avnish a lot because, he's made me dream bigger.
Right.
When you run a nutraceutical company and that's been acquired by Unilever, and you see the kind of trajectory that the business can take, and the limitless possibilities it can take. Just how literally it's going to be he'll be you go work out. He'll be you go work. I got this at home. Don't worry.
So he's also your support system in that sense.
I mean, literally last night, there was a family commitment I couldn't come to. And he's like, I got you, babe. He's like, as long as you're doing it for work and it's going to help you grow, no one's going to be there when we're going to be enjoying what we create. Go out there, work. So I feel like when you have a really strong support system, and even as in the rest of my family, they've never stopped me. They've never questioned me. Like my uncles who are part of the business as well, they're like equal partners with the business. I'm doing crazy shit with the business all the time, like as in putting a woman on a bike and, putting Saree somewhere else. And we're all Banaras, people from Banaras, they've never questioned. They'll be like, you know what, the other day I was talking to my uncle and I was like, I'm doing this, what's your view? He said, I'm trusting you, you do what you want to do.
They trust your vision.
I'm only 33 still. I am not a 40-year-old person who knows what's going on. Maybe at 50 I'll know what's going on. Maybe then also I wouldn't, But
I think we're all figuring it out as we go along.
But I think I have a very strong family support system. And I'm very grateful for that.
And when do you feel most beautiful?
I feel like when my body and my mind are in sync with me. Like when my body is in the right shape that I want it to be. Also when I'm wearing what I want to wear. For a certain recent shoot that I'd done, they made me wear what I didn't want to wear. I was uncomfortable and I didn't feel beautiful. And my body language was that I didn't feel beautiful. And they asked me how's the shoot? And I was like, I don't like it. It's not me. When I'm trying to force something that's not me, that's not what I believe in, is when I don't feel beautiful. But this morning, I bought this jacket and I was like, oh, it's looking very nice. I feel pretty. I walked out and my mood's good. Everything is good because I'm feeling beautiful. And I think I'm not trying too hard.
No, thank you for this conversation.
Thank you very much.
I love that you're learning to be extremely comfortable in your skin.
I hope to be
more.
And
I think that's very inspiring. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, like, share and subscribe here on YouTube, and you can also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Music. Thank you for making the time. Support us, follow us on Instagram. We are Aecsh Life, and we appreciate you.